What does it mean to have discipline? We all know it takes discipline and a certain level of self-control to reach our goals in life. So my plan in this video is to share what is discipline, how it will change your life, and then easy ways to change your discipline and implement it within your life. With that being said, my name is Richardson. I'm a coach here at Life in Your Terms, and I make these videos to pass on my knowledge and pass on my expertise to hopefully help you guys move through these lessons quicker than I ever could. And I promise you, I used to struggle with discipline. I used to have terrible time management. I used to not be involved in fitness at all, and it really changed me as a person to go from undisciplined to disciplined in terms of goal achievement, happiness, and how I just felt about my life's direction. So with that being said, I promise you by the end of this video, you will understand what does it mean to have discipline. So with that being said, we have to first define what is discipline. And when we look at discipline, it's simply the practice or the skill of training yourself to follow a set of rules or guidelines to achieve goals. So let's say you want to lose 15 pounds. A good way to practice discipline would be to only have cookies on Saturday, for example. I know that's a really novel example, but let's say you wanted to make $1 million. Well, you'd have to have a certain level of discipline to create a business and do all the steps that it takes to do that to achieve that goal. So with discipline, it's just simply following a set of rules that you set that is optimizing for your goal. I like to think of discipline as simply a system to make it easier to get where I want to go. And you have to have this system in place to make it happen. So it's self-control and willpower to put the long term before the short term. So yes, a cookie on Tuesday would be really good, but if I want to lose those 15 pounds, I can only have those cookies on Saturday. And it takes willpower and self-control to not eat those cookies. So when you're looking at discipline and self-control, I would encourage you to also think about that your willpower is limited. And if you haven't, read the book, The One Thing. And this really lays out that willpower is limited and you want to maximize it in certain areas of your life. So to make it really easy to be disciplined, it might be good to just not have cookies at all in your home. And then on Saturday, you go get a cookie from somewhere. So you don't even have to practice self-control and willpower throughout the week because they're just not even in your environment. I know this is a novel example, but it's really easy to understand. When you have this self-control and willpower, you want to make sure you preserve it as much as possible to really make the decisions that matter. So with your self-control and willpower, it also requires consistent effort and persistence to make discipline work. You can't just not eat cookies for 1 week and then eat them as much as you want the next week. Or you can't just go to the gym for 8 hours one day and train really hard and expect that you're gonna come out of there with 6-pack abs and 30 pounds off. It takes years of discipline to see the results of it. So that's what is discipline. Now the second piece is, how does discipline actually change your life? Well, speaking from personal experience, I think discipline has been one of the biggest changes in my life that has made the most amount of difference. And one highlight or example that I could speak to is fitness and that fitness routine for myself. Before I started working out, and I've been working out for about 6 years now, and for perspective, I've gone from 132 pounds to about 203 last week. So I've added about 70 pounds, some fat, some muscle, but of consistent, disciplined effort. And with that, it has truly changed my life because fitness has taught me that it takes consistency and discipline over everything else. I mean, of course, you need intensity and you need to follow a program, but there is things outside of it that are not as important as just consistent effort and discipline. And I use fitness and the ideology I carry with that to teach me lessons in all my other areas of life. For example, my time management. I was terrible with being on time to things, but I was always on time to the gym because it was important to me. So I took those same concepts and how I prepared for the gym and how I could prepare in other areas of my life. If I wanted to make sure I got an hour workout, I always make sure to set my stuff out ahead of time. I made sure to eat my food in advance. I made sure to do everything so I could leave on time. And I took that same lesson to apply to being on time to work, things like that. So if you can find a thing in your life, one thing where you can be disciplined, it will change your life because you can take a lot of the same principles within that one thing and apply them to other areas. And personally, I recommend nothing other than fitness because number one, you're gonna enjoy doing it because you're gonna feel really good physically because the endorphins you release. You're gonna feel really good mentally because you're gonna see the changes in your body, and it's teaching you discipline in a way that's relatively simple but not easy. Fitness is not easy, but it is simple to do. So that's how it changes your life. But on top of it, discipline is going to help you achieve your goals because goals take consistent effort and persistence. And so discipline is the key ingredient to making that happen. Now, on top of that, it's going to help you with your time management because when you can be disciplined in other areas, you can just apply those same lessons to your time management, which again is a key factor to making changes within your life. Now, on top of time management, you're also going to have higher self-esteem and confidence because you know that you are in control. And I think that's what discipline simply is it, are you in control or are you out of control? If you're in control, you have very high self-discipline. You choose what happens within your life, like on a personal level. And so with that, you're gonna carry a higher self-esteem and higher confidence because you know that you are in control. So that's how discipline changes your life. But how can you develop it and implement it within your life? To develop discipline, I would encourage you to ask yourself, why do you want to be disciplined? But if you can identify the why, it'll make it much easier to continue going. If you want to lose 15 pounds and go to the gym 5 days a week, well, eventually times will get hard. You'll have busy weeks and you're not going to want to do that. But if you can rely on your why, it makes it a lot easier. And if your why is to set a good example for your kids and your family and feel better mentally and feel more confident, if you can lean on that, long term, it'll be much easier to be disciplined and be consistent. So ask yourself, why do you want to develop it? And once you've arrived at that answer, then I want you to start with one thing and one thing only. Start with one thing that you will treat as your Bible or as that you will 100% of the time do this and you will be disciplined. And for me, it was fitness and it still is to this day. It's something that I rely on completely again to use lessons from. So I started with fitness, and then from fitness, it's simply my work. So I've been doing these lists for probably 2 years now, not on sticky notes, but in the notes app. And now I use sticky notes. And so that's my discipline piece. And then I realized, how can I be more disciplined with my time? Because I had a really big problem being late to work, to my day job. And so then I had to work on those things slowly. But as I added them, I just got better at the skill of discipline because I truly see discipline as a skill. And it's something that you can develop, but you want to start with one thing and make sure you do that one thing 100% of the time. Obviously, life happens, things come up, but that's not an excuse. So what I mean when life happens, I mean you get sick, you lose a loved one, situations that you can't control come up. The gym's closed because of a tornado. That happened just recently to me. I go to the gym and it's closed. Well, I can't work out that day. And so what I mean is that life happens is only an excuse if it's something that's completely out of your control. So start with that one thing and then slowly add. So you start with the fitness, and then maybe you want to get better at working or better at your relationship or better at your time management or better at your money spending. And then you add that, and then you add another thing. And before you know it, you are so great at the skill of discipline that you can take on anything and achieve it with a long enough time horizon. Now, on top of that, I would encourage you, once you start to develop some of those things, and you've added your one thing, your second thing, your third thing, it's helpful to start creating a routine. I typically go to bed about the same time every night and wake up at the same time. And if you can develop that as well, it can help create that routine in the system to make it easier to be disciplined. I know going into my day how many hours I'm gonna work, what time I'm gonna wake up, and typically the activities I'm gonna do. And now, then it just breaks down to me doing it. I don't have any decision fatigue or willpower on choosing what to do because I've created that routine, and it makes discipline really easy to happen. So if you want to have discipline, you want to look at areas that you want to improve, something that can be helpful is the balance wheel in the description below, because the balance wheel help you lay out your life in 4 coherent areas. And from there, you can look at those areas and be like, you know what, I want to make a change in that area. So it makes it really easier for you not have to make those decisions. The balance wheel is just a super helpful tool. So if you take that in the description below, that can help you on your discipline journey. On top of that, if you will comment, it helps me know what's helpful in these videos and what's not helpful. I know to make more of them. And on top of that, if you'll like and subscribe, that's really helpful as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one.